Hi, I'm Natalie. My current role is work in marketing. I'm a customer retention manager for an e-commerce retail business. And previous to this, I used to work for a company that acquired groups of children's nursery schools and do all the integration for their marketing. And then previous to that, I worked in retail for a food retailer.
Yes. So what may or may not have changed for you?
I think what's changed is my attitude and my thoughts about the role that I was getting. I through my journey, I suppose that's a cheesy word, using the word journey. Through my journey, I have discovered more, not sort of what I want, but more what I don't want. So I knew I wanted something relatively close to home. I don't have to commute all the time, have that flexibility of the hybrid, so I could work from home some days as well as go in the office. And I like being around people, so I need that for myself, but also conscious that I need some time to do practical things before and after work with the children and the family.
Yes.
But then also to have that headspace as well while you're concentrating as well. So that's what I knew I wanted. Whereas there was stuff I think by finding out what you don't want, it makes you realize what you do want.
Yes.
And I wanted that sort of, and I'd realized it would be nice to go back to a big corporate company because you got the benefits, but actually trying to get back into a corporate, I thought I tried working for a small company, and I thought actually I quite like working for a small company. It's a bit more challenging and dynamic and good experience. But that's not to say I wouldn't go back to a big corporate in the longer term.
Yeah. But for now, and your location and where you're based, going from a large corporate to more of a sort of smaller family-based business is working for you. Yeah. Fantastic.
I've been sort of exploring and looking at other roles, and because I was coming out of a job, and I got to that point where I didn't know what I wanted. I worked in marketing for 20 plus years, and I was like, do I still want to work in marketing? And all the jobs I was looking, they were quite specific, and I'd done quite a lot of roles that were quite generalist. And I just didn't know how to go about it or what to do. And my friend sort of said, oh, have you heard about Brave Starts? And send it to me. And then I was like, I kept it for a few weeks, never did anything with it. And eventually I was like, I'm just going to message. Then you came back really promptly and really quickly, had a call, and it just went from there. And I think I didn't realise how beneficial it was going to be until you start it and meet all the other people. And then that's it really. It just sort of came out of nowhere because my friends knew that I was looking, wasn't sure what direction to go into, and it sort of helped. I'd had support with finding a job, but finding a job is completely different to doing this program where you're trying to work out what you want as a person when you get to that point in life, be it in your mid-40s or even later. So
that's really helpful. And so what you're describing is almost giving you a bit more clarity over your future direction.
Yeah.
Were there any other things or aspects about the program just generally that might have been helpful that you can see other people might get some benefit from?
I think it's meeting other people, and realizing you're not the only person, because you think, sometimes you can feel a bit isolated when you're looking for a job or deciding what to do. And just there's always lots of different situations, everyone's very different and varied. And it makes you realize you're not the only person sort of looking for that thing or unsure what to do next, And by having those conversations and talking about loud, you can say, actually, I do still like what I'm working in, or no, I definitely don't like what I'm working in. I definitely need that change. Or if you can't do that change straight away, you know how to get there when you want to make the change when you're ready.
Yes. And actually, another question's just occurred to me, and so I'm going to spring it on you. But there's a lot of chatter in the workspace now, or online, about sort of the midlife change and getting people back into work over the age of 50 and things. What would your advice be to employers who haven't really got their head around this yet? We see a lot of entry points at graduate level, but there's not an awful lot of open-mindedness about allowing people to come in at maybe different stages in their life. So I guess the question is, what would be your message to employers about the value of this particular group or demographic?
I think age group brings a lot of experience. It might not be specifically in that role, because I've got a slightly different role to what I've done before, but I've got learnings from other people who've done that role. And because I worked in like big corporates helps or even smaller ones, you get a lot of life experience and knowing how to, and for me, it's all about managing those relationships with the people that you're working with that are doing those different areas of expertise. So I might not have the expertise in a certain area, but I can have those conversations with people and sort of bringing them on board. For me, it's that having that ability and confidence to do that, whereas, and knowing that you can go and do it and there's always a way out there of doing it. Whereas when you're younger, you've never worked in an office environment, so you're like, oh, what do you do? Oh, this is how, you've got to learn that as you go along. Whereas when you're older, you're sort of a bit more, you know how to get on, you just want to come in, do your job. You've got a different attitude as well. It's like, I don't want to be, climbing, mid-40s, I want to be climbing they're very ambitious, which is fine. And I think you can still have ambition at my age as well. But you're a bit more, I say worldly wise or whatever the term is, to sort of say, actually, what you do and don't want.